Yeah, it disconnected as soon as I went to go fix it. So I'm back.
That's all right. Where are you calling in from?
For
Where?
Treasure Coast, Port St. Lucie specifically.
Bro, you're an hour
What?
from me.
Where are you at,
I'm in
Melbourne?
Melbourne.
There you go.
That's legit, bro. Very cool.
That is really cool, actually.
I was literally just telling Ivory last year I had a whole bunch of clients. I think we had like 23 or 24 clients come up to my house. We literally had people come from Texas. I did a big barbecue. I did like two briskets and my wife did all the sides and everything. It was awesome, man. It was so low key. It's at my house, obviously. And we just talked shop for like 6 hours. We ate good food.
Let me know when. I'm only an hour.
We had people come from Port St. Lucie. We had people come from way further, actually. We had people come from, I have 2 clients in Fort Lauderdale and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 clients, 8, my God. It's either 7 or 8 clients in Miami or like within 30 minutes of Miami.
Very much.
Yeah.
I followed your last live video. I'll be honest, I haven't looked completely at your page. I've watched your videos, but you offer mentorship. Because for me, I've done everything under the sun between YouTube.
Okay.
And having
university. You've got
I have a notebook full of notes. But on this type of learning, I need the hands-on, a little bit of coaching. I actually have an investor mentor that I'm starting to work with down here to do foreclosures.
Good.
But most of the time when you find these private lending people, they're always so busy. And it's kind of harder to work with them at that point. So he's meant to help me. He's a religious guy as well. So he's very generous with his time.
Good.
But definitely harder to get the structure between.
Yeah. Okay, tell me, so first couple of questions. How long have you been investing and how many deals have you done?
So I just got started.
Besides YouTube, have you done anything else?
So the last couple of tasks that I've been doing is I've been on the Port St. Lucie Municipal Court, and they released videos of like code violations.
Yep.
So I haven't been able to make the meetings, but I can watch the videos once they're released. So I'm doing the violations. I have a list of a couple homes that are vacant and a couple properties locally that have issues within their property. And then I went and looked at how much the home was valued. I have called. Prior to that, I have called off Zillow. I didn't find as much success because partially I was only working in South Carolina market to have an investor up there.
Okay.
South Carolina market is very difficult if you don't, his parameters, his buy box was a little bit harder to work with in the areas he was working with. And then just doing it off Zillow, because at first I had no money, no nothing.
Yeah.
So Zillow, it seemed a little bit harder because a lot of investors up there were selling Section 8 or lower end property as a whole unit, but they're asking for almost retail price on it and weren't budging because they bought the property for it is what it would be bought for as a wholesale number. And there's no margins to buy the home at that point. And they even knew that. So they've been holding on to these properties for over 120 days.
This is great. Let me make sure that I understand what you're saying. So you are calling houses that are listed on Zillow in South Carolina. They have the house rented, typically Section 8, and it's not selling because there's not enough margin in order for you to get into these deals.
Correct.
So I literally have a software created for that exact scenario.
I know there's creative financing, but I'm not familiar with it enough to even pitch it.
Dude.
Standard.
Oh my, this is so cool. We're about to have some fun. First thing first, I want to give you my Deal Structure Dictionary course. Deal Structure Dictionary. Hold on. I just realized that I'm not wearing my watch and I'm really insecure about blinding people. So I'm going to go. It's charging right here. No, I have the most terrible watch and I go for a walk every morning. And so I have a pretty good tan year round, especially living here in Florida. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at that thing. Let me go. I know my watch really quick. Okay. So, I think that a lot of folks, when they come to me, they know about wholesaling, right? Because that's like the biggest thing, the easiest thing to talk about on YouTube. And I have about 2 to 3, maybe 4 conversations every day with people for the last 5 years. Like I do. I mean, I own the business. So I talk to a lot of folks and all they know is wholesaling if they're coming from the YouTube world, right? Which is really good that you are educating yourself on this. However, I'll explain it this way. I have this screwdriver. It's a Phillips head screwdriver on my desk. Now, this is a really nice Phillips head screwdriver. It's really shiny. The grip is really good. But I'm here to tell you, the moment that you give me a flathead screw, this thing is useless. And the moment I have a hex head screw, I can't do anything. It's pointless to have this. I don't care how hard I try. This is the wrong tool. And it doesn't mean that this tool doesn't work. And it doesn't mean that I don't like this tool anymore. It just means that it's the wrong tool for the job. And so I see wholesaling as one of 18 different strategies in order to do a deal. Statistically, across a little over 30,000 leads that I have access to in my CRM, if you are only wholesaling, you can help about 2 to 3%. You will close, like that's what I mean by help. That's the definition of help. You will close 2 to 3%. If given 100 leads, you can only help 2 to 3% of them if you're only wholesaling. So if you're a one-trick pony, I'm here to tell you you're dead in the water. But I've talked to more wholesalers the last year and a half, maybe even 2 years, than I have, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24 when I originally started talking to people. And that's because the market was appreciating wildly, right? Remember in COVID, 20, 21, 22, 23, I mean, you could not even have a deal. And if you held it long enough, it turns into a deal. In Q3 of 2023, it started to level off. 24 was kind of a rough year. 25 was terrible. People got murdered last year. And this year, it's not doing much better for wholesaling. You have to know how to buy houses subject to or through a trust acquisition or buying with owner financing. You must understand that there's other things outside of conventional loans and FHA loans and VA loans and Fannie Freddie products, right? Going to like one step further on a more creative side would be a DSCR loan, a debt service coverage ratio loan, which is perfect for rentals in Section 8. One step further would be something like using hard money or private money. And then one step further is actually using the seller's financing, whether that be keeping the mortgage in place through subject to or trust acquisition or getting seller financing or a hybrid of both. I love hybrid deals because you're no money in. You have no money in. It literally has built-in financing. Diego, those houses that you're talking about, and 120 days is kind of my number, actually. If it's over 120 days, okay, so let me tell you a little bit of a case study I did in July. I started this in July of last year. So if you don't know a little bit of background about me, I own REI Automated. It's an education, software, and coaching business. So we have a couple hundred people in there. And I was kind of hearing the same things like, gee, this market is really hard. There's not enough leads. There's no opportunities. And I'm like, bro, like there is way more opportunities right now this year than I have ever seen in the last 10 years. So I've been in the game since 2016 and it's a bloodbath right now. I see so many opportunities to help people. There's too many people. And so I was like, golly, you're wearing the wrong glasses. Believe it or not, I do have some glasses. Your perspective is flawed if you believe that there's not a lot of opportunities right now. So I ran a challenge. It was originally a 30-day challenge, and then we quickly extended it to a 90-day challenge. But it was calling listings, whether FSBO or listed with an agent. It was calling listings on Zillow and pitching terms. And we did this all manually. Everything was tracked. I brought on, and I forget my numbers. I think it was 15 people total. 2 of them dropped out because it was daily accountability. You had to post every single day that you were on track. So I think we had 13 people finish it. Of those 13 people, we had more than 1.1 or $1.2 million of net profit under contract within 90 days. And that's a little bit of a lie. I'm fibbing a little bit. It was 92 days because one person's closing got pushed off just a little bit. Whatever. It was effectively 90 days from the beginning. And it worked really, really, really well. because not only did these investors know, right, like Ivory is a private client of mine. Ivory knows how to structure deals, all these different creative ways. And he knows not just how to wholesale them, but how to wholesale them and how to retail them and how to wrap them and how to do a lease option and how to do a novation and how to do owner finance. And there's all these different entrance strategies and exit strategies. And each one of those is a different tool for you to use in order to help somebody. Because the more tools you have, the more yeses you get. The more yeses you get, the more people you help and the more money you make. So I had these people calling. The minimum requirement, I think, was 1 hour per day. You can go back and Facebook stalk me if you want. We started this in July, so I forget some of these numbers. And I think it was an hour per day, and I was posting the results as we went. I personally did this. One of my friends is also a client, and he sat right here, and we would live stream for about 3 hours a day. We were doing it together, and I was critiquing his sales calls. It was a ton of fun. He was a great sport. But I was like, dude, I'm going to help you get your first deal. I'm going to die trying. Like, I'll darn near do the freaking deal for you. Like, at this point, we're so close. You know, he's literally in proximity. You pull my workbench right here, and we're talking. There's so much opportunity, man. You just have to learn how to pitch it. And first, you have to learn conceptually how to structure these deals, both entrance strategy as well as exit strategy. So I think that's the first place to start. I'm going to give you that course today. Then you need to know how to speak it. Because if you start getting all in the technicalities and you're putting your education hat on, the seller didn't sign up for that. They just want you to solve the problem. So learning how to say these things in really simple, easy to understand, like you're talking to a fifth grader type of language, that's super, super important for the success of your sales call. And you will get more properties under contract that way. So here's my deal to you right now. I am going to give you my deal structure dictionary. I have to pull up the link here. Link tree. Here we go. All right. In the chat, I'm going to drop the link to get this course. And when you go to the page, it's going to say that it's for sale. I want you to go ahead and check out. And once you check out, put this promo code and it will drop the course for free. So you'll see it go from whatever positive number it is down to $0. And then you can check out and you get the course for free. So that's the deal structure dictionary that teaches you all those different entrance strategies and all the different exit strategies. So that you'll have 18 different ways of structuring deals. Then if you finish that, my commitment to you, Diego, is all you have to do is send me a Facebook, a text message, an email, snail mail. I don't really care. Carrier pigeon for a like here. Just get word to me that you finished the course. You have 1 week to finish the course. As long as you finish the course in 1 week, today, Saturday, the 28th. So 7 days from now. I don't know how to do that.
I'm filling it out right now, so I can't do the math.
Fourth. It's the 4th. As long as you finish it by the 4th, end of business on April 4th, I'll give you a second course for free. The second course that I'd like to give you is how to pitch it, right? Because now you'll have the headspace knowledge after finishing this deal structure course, but now you need to know, how do I speak this to the seller? How do I pitch this to the seller? So I'll give you my sales and negotiation course after you finish that one.
And then you said you have a coupon when you're at the checkout part?
Yeah, I put that in the chat. It's the last message in the chat.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll get that finished. Because I'm at a point where I'm stagnant, where I was actually talking to my significant other last night about this. I was like, listen, and I was praying to God. I was like, listen, I'm at a point where I'm waiting on my mentor, but have all this knowledge, but don't have all the right knowledge.
Yeah.
And I need something else to keep me busy at this point in time. So this works out perfect.
This is probably more than what you're expecting. You can ask Ivory. He actually sent me a message saying this is an overwhelming amount of videos. I don't know how you expect me to do this. That's not some crappy like lead magnet course that's like me up in front of people talking for 60 or 90 minutes. Like this is, I don't know how many hours that course is, but it's probably 10 hours plus or minus 3. I took a long time to create the curriculum. Then I took a long time to shoot the curriculum. And then a long time to edit the curriculum. I easily have 40 hours just in that course. So it's super valuable, and you will be able to structure deals, and you will be able to get so many more yeses. By the way, I gave you some numbers earlier saying roughly 3%. If you're wholesaling, you can roughly help 3% of people. When I talk to folks now, I can help roughly 70% of people. When you have all of these different deal structures in place, tools in your tool belt, you can now help more people. And because you can help more people, you get more yeses. When you get more yeses, you make more money. You have a bigger impact. So finish that course. You have until next Saturday. If you have any questions, hit me up on Facebook. And then once you're done, just get word to me that you finished it by next Saturday. I'll give you my second course. You have to remind me though. Hey Keith, sales and negotiation. As long as you say those words, sales and negotiation, send me an email if you want, whatever, and I'll give you that. I will check that you're 100% through. And I'm kind of an ass when it comes to the courses. There's actually several tests in there, and then there's a final at the end. You actually have to get 100%. Like I won't even accept one wrong question, because each one of those questions, those are the mistakes that I've made in my career that have come back to bite me in the butt. So there's a reason why those questions are there, and it's important. If you don't want to, make the mistake yourself, and if you'd rather learn from my mistake, that's the reason why. So if you don't know the answer, go back, review the material, get 100% on the.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. You have any other? Hey, by the way, James and Rick, welcome. Happy Saturday. Good morning, wherever you're tuning in from. If you guys have any questions, all you have to do is raise your hand. That way I know once we're done with, the speaker right now. And then I can move on to the next person. Also, we're live right now. I think that you guys know that. We have a lot of people tuning in live. And if you would like to get your questions answered, if you want some free courses, some free knowledge, you don't have to pay me for this, obviously, then just click that link in the comments and join the Zoom room. Don't be lame and watch this live. That is so lame. Okay, anyway, Diego, if you have any questions, I'll let you go first since you have your video on. James and Rick, if you have a question in the future, just raise your hand, turn your video on, and I'll get to you as soon as we're done with Diego. Go ahead.
No, I think you kind of answered the question that I already have, but then with that video, it's kind of more just going back over it, especially with those deals that we were talking about on Zillow. There was an opportunity there. I just didn't have all the information on how to structure it properly to get those. Because I know when people are selling and it's sitting for 120 days, they're not just going to not sell it for no reason. They just know the reality of the situation, but they are like me and don't know the creative way of. I'm finding out in this industry, the creativity side, there's not a lot of information. There is and there isn't.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that know about it but don't understand it, or they just don't know about it at all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at the beginning stage of all this information, trying to plug and play, but now I need the right tools.
Most of the people who know about it have you pay for it. It's kind of gate kept. Come to my webinar, come to my live event in Orlando or whatever it is, right? I want to be a little bit different. And at the end of the day, dude, there's a lot of people on Zillow. Like I said, it's a bloodbath. There's a lot of people on Zillow that we can help. And if you were to go, I don't care if you look at the Treasure Coast, if you look at the Space Coast, if you look at the state of Florida, if you look at any other states, what you're going to see, like universally. So I invest in 55 major metropolitan cities across 34 states in the United States. I feel like I have a fairly good pulse over how we are doing nationwide. And regardless of where you look on Zillow, as you scroll, you will just see price reduction, price reduction, price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. It just goes on forever and ever and ever. And you can look at almost every price reduction and look at the days on market. And when those two things, dude, another thing that I can help you with is my software. I got a little bit distracted. Here, let me put a pin in the software. I'll finish this thing and then I'll go to that. When those two things marry up, when you have both the price reduction and days on market exceeding 120, in some cases even 90, people are very willing to accept terms as long as they can get their price. They're very willing to take terms as long as they can get their price. And all you have to do is explain to them why you can't do it the way that they want, but you can get them the price that they want. So there's only two words that are different there. I can't get it to you the way that you want, which is go get a loan and give me all my money now. Well, I can't. It would actually be considered a predatory loan. Why would it be a predatory loan? Well, because my debt service would actually exceed what the house is renting out for. Therefore, since 2008, it would be a predatory loan, and unless we were going to go, bring a loan officer hostage and hold him at gunpoint and force him to give you the loan, they're not going to do it. Nobody's going to give you a loan if they know that the debt service, the principal and interest and taxes and insurance, is going to exceed what you can rent that house out for. That's the definition of a debt service coverage ratio loan, is your rent has to exceed, at least what I shoot for is 1.2 or more. So meaning if you're renting it out for $1,200, then your debt service better not be more than $1,000. Really, it should be more than this, by the way, because then you also have management, you have maintenance, you have operating expenses, you have capital expenditures. But this is what the bank looks at. So you explain it to them. Hey, I would love to buy this. I'm an investor. I would love to add this to my portfolio. Problem is, unless you want to help me commit a felony today, nobody is going to give me this predatory loan. Unless you're willing to significantly drop your price. And I'm talking a significant amount, like 30, 40%, right? Cash offer type of deal. Then I can go, then that lowers my payment enough that I can go get a loan. However, unless you're willing to, come down to 60% of your current asking price, I can't cash you out. What if, here's the secret, Diego, I don't offer them what they currently have the house listed for. I go back to their original listing price, which is more than what they're willing to settle at this price. But it really gets their ears to perk up when I give them a higher number. So let's say it's for sale for $169 and it was originally listed at $199. Hey, what if I could get you $199, probably get you about $10,000, $12,000 down, hold the note for 6 years, and I'll balloon you out. I'll pay everything off when I refinance in 6 years. The numbers work amazingly good for me because it's on a 30-year amortization. But what's the interest rate?
0.
So my monthly payment, are you familiar with a amortization schedule, like how much you're paying in interest the first 7 to 12 years?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
It's tremendous. And so you knock out that interest, that payment is 100% going to principal. Oh my goodness sakes. So not only is your monthly payment lower, but I don't really care that I'm paying a little bit extra. What if the house is worth $200,000 and I'm paying fair market value at $199? Do I care? No. But Keith, you have no equity in the deal. You're right. How quickly does my equity accelerate over the first 2 years? And they've just agreed to 6. James, you're asking, what if the bank calls the note? Well, there's 2 reasons why they wouldn't call the note. In the example that I'm sharing right now, it's at 0% interest. Great question, by the way. Thank you for asking. In the specific example that I'm talking about right now, there is no bank, and they're giving me seller financing at 0% interest. And so there is no bank to call it due, and you have an agreement to promissory note and mortgage or deed of trust, depending on the state that the subject property is in. And they're secured in a first lien position, and I'm in control. Well, I'm in control. I'm not the one writing, right? We don't practice law. The real estate attorney is the one who's going to draft up the mortgage or deed of trust and the promissory note, but there's not going to be a due on sale clause. And they're the one giving me the mortgage. So it wouldn't matter. I could wrap it or I could rent it. No matter. However, what you are talking about does happen. It's starting to happen a little bit more frequently where banks are calling notes due. If you don't know what the due on sale clause is, every mortgage has a whole bunch of things under the due on sale. And one of them is if you transfer. There's other things that can accelerate the note, by the way, a whole bunch of things. If you're out of your house for 30 days, let's say you go on a vacation to Bermuda for 45 days, they can call your note due. What about if you don't have property insurance, if there's a lapse in your insurance for 31 days, they can call your note due. There's about, well, depending on the mortgage, anywhere between 8 to 12 things that can accelerate your mortgage. So it's not just the sale part of it, by the way. People think that it's that. Here's the thing. The due on sale clause being enacted is the real estate equivalent of being struck by lightning. It really doesn't happen that much. What does the bank care about? The bank cares about the note. They don't care about the house. So as long as they're getting paid their money for that note, we're square. Now, the moment that something goes wrong, the moment there's an issue, you're late, there's something that's flagged on the insurance, that's really the number one reason why notes get called due is because of insurance. Then they'll look into it. And at that point, they have every right to call the note due. However, James, to answer your direct question, let's say that there is a note on the property and there's no equity. They owe $199,000 and I'm buying it for $199,000. So there's no seller financing involved at all whatsoever. In that case, what we would do is we would put the property in a trust, right? If you're familiar, wow, I just had a brain fart. What is the law that says that you can put a property in a trust for family and estate planning? Say it again.
Germain.
Yeah. You're saying, I'm hearing grant.
I think it's Grand Germain, something like that.
Germain. Why am I totally Garn Saint Germain is
Yes, Garn Germain.
Yeah,
I know it was something like that.
This was put into place like a long time ago that basically says if that person if the owner puts their property into a trust, the note cannot get called due because this isn't a transfer of sale. Real property did not get transferred. It was put into a trust. Here's the loophole. This is the legal loophole. Let me prove it to you before I even go into it. What happens when somebody passes away and they're going to give their house to their son or to their daughter? They put it into a trust. Does that son or daughter who inherited it through the trust, does the bank qualify them? Do they run their credit score? Are they looking at their debt to income ratio? Are they reappraising the house to make sure the loan to value is good in order to qualify this person? No. None of those things happen. The house just gets passed down through the trust to the child. Now, here's another example. What about if you have a really wealthy individual who has a $2 million house in San Diego, California, and he gets married to a woman who doesn't have a job? He already owns the house. He's already been pre-qualified. He already has a mortgage on it. And he gets married to a woman who doesn't have a job. Can she get put on the house? Well, the question that people are really asking is, can she get put on the loan? And the answer is no. She doesn't qualify to be put on the loan. She can't show any income for the last 2 years. Of course, she's going to get denied. Does that mean that she can't be put on the house? Absolutely not. Put it into a trust. Now they're both on the house because it's in a trust. Now here's a cool thing. The trust, when you transfer a trust is considered personal property, not real property. So we call it real estate, right? You're transferring real property or real estate. A trust is personal property. So the law does not apply. Now, there's one asterisk that you have to put in here. The seller must remain in ownership status of the trust. They have to remain in ownership status on the trust. Now, here's the cool thing about trust. Here's the best thing about trust. You can be an owner, but have no control. You have full control, but they remain in ownership status. And if the bank ever asks to see the trust, absolutely, here it is. They are still an owner. So this is the right way to, if you're really worried about the due on sale clause and you don't take house as subject to, I take house as subject to even to this day. I take house as subject to. However, if you are adverse, which I'm getting a little bit more risk adverse as my portfolio grows and as I get a little bit older, I don't want things to get called due. And so we put the property into a trust and then assign those beneficial interest rights to me. Now I control the trust, and I'm the one who can, act on behalf of the trust to do things with that house, whether that be refinancing it, whether it be, fixing it up, whether it be selling it, so on and so forth. That's within my purview as outlined in our trust agreement. Cool thing is these trust agreements, they can cost you maybe $1,500 each time. Or if you're doing it in the same area, like it's the same state, it's the same city, then you can kind of just pay for one trust. Have an attorney do this, by the way. Have an attorney advise you. And then kind of template it out. If you're buying houses all in the same area, it's the same city, it's the same local laws and legislation. It's the same case law, it's the same contract law that applies, then you can use the same trust. maybe I shouldn't say that. None of this is legal advice, by the way. This is all educational, and it's not even educational, actually. It's for your entertainment purposes only. I'm just here to tell you what I do. So the moment you cross over state lines, though, now there's different case law. Now there's different contract law. Those judges may see things a little bit differently. Maybe there's some nuances that you need to be putting in place to make sure that you're abiding by local legislation. So every time I cross state lines, I get a new trust drafted by a local attorney. And that's the right way to do this. It's called a trust acquisition. You're still leaving that mortgage in place. And so you can analyze the deal as if you're taking it subject to. But the law is on your side when it comes to the Garner St. Germain Act, that the seller has remained as an owner of the trust, which owns the house. Therefore, no house was ever sold. Therefore, the due on sale clause is not applicable. James, did that fully answer your question, sir? Cool. Thanks, brother. Ivory, you said in the chat you have a question about this topic. Let's do it.
Yeah. Could you, I guess, sum up what you were saying about this? I know there's a lot that you said I'm just trying to retain and understand it as forced trust.
Yeah.
Like how that does this stuff. And I know you mentioned about subject to and things like that. You know how it's going out a lot. So I'm just trying to focus and I heard you talking a lot, but I'm trying to put it all together and kind of figure out, okay, how's it going to affect me when I'm doing this? So I'm trying to apply it to myself. So I feel like just a simple baby terms, just explain I'm not trying to say dumb terms, but I'm trying to understand like this.
Here's what I'll tell you. You're not there yet. Remember how I sent you that voice memo and I said, hey man, you don't have to become an expert in all this stuff. You don't have to remember all this stuff. You just have to know where to go back to in the training. That's kind of one of those moments. This is covered in the training. Yeah. And if you use DealGPT, it actually has access to all the recordings, such as this one, right? I don't know where it is for you guys, but I have the REI Automated note taker over here. That's going to get uploaded later today, and DealGPT is going to be able to pull everything from it. And I've talked about this many, many times. Trust acquisitions is not a new thing. I've been talking about it for several years.
Where's DealGPT at? Is it in somewhere in
the app thing? It's in the app. Left-hand side, there's a little robot-looking icon. Click on that. Ask it any question you want. It's way better than ChatGPT or Claude or anything that you're going to find online because it's literally trained on my material, and it has access to every word I've ever spoken on any Zoom over the last 5 years.
I could have been using that then. Well, I heard you said something about GPT so a long time ago. Why don't I just take advantage of that to get an understanding?
Anytime, it's like having Keith in your pocket 24/7. Literally, at any point in time, whip out the app, click on that little robot icon, ask your question. Boom. And it literally sounds like me because it's trained on how I speak. It will freak you out sometimes. It even gives you like hunting and fishing analogies like I really do in real life.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I see you, brother. I'm going to get to you in just give me 30 seconds here to answer James' question in the chat. James, you said, Keith, if I'm familiar with most of all real estate strategies, can you explain how your CRM can make my life easier? Absolutely. So I don't know if you know me at all. I don't know if you follow me. I don't know where you are. So I'm kind of going to start at the beginning with a really brief overview that I was active duty in the Marines for 8 years. During those 8 years, I was in 13 different countries. I missed both the pregnancies of my children, and I decided I have to get out of the Marine Corps. I love the Marine Corps. I had the most amazing time. I learned a lot. I'll never say anything bad. However, it was good only for a season for me. And so I missed both of the pregnancies. And for the next 3 years, I continued to go overseas. And every time I would come back, my wife had to reintroduce me to my children because they didn't know who I was. This hurt my soul as a father because my dad died when I was 8 years old and I was raised without a father. And here I am looking at my children being raised without a father, except I don't have the excuse of being dead. I'm alive, I'm well, I'm choosing to live this lifestyle, and I have the ability to choose a different lifestyle. So real estate was my vehicle to financial freedom, if you will. It took me 4.5 years to get there. In 2020, I got out of the Marines and went full-time into real estate. Why is all of that relevant to you? Well, because when you're in the Marines, it's not a cushy 9 to 5 when you can punch the clock in and punch the clock out. It's a 24/7 that shit follows you everywhere, especially when you're overseas. And so it's a lifestyle, not a job. And I couldn't call sellers before work because I was already getting up at 4 o'clock. And I don't know about you, but when I get up at 3 o'clock, I don't care how big of a pot of coffee I have. It doesn't make my mood any better. It just makes me go pee. So before work, cannot make calls. After work, I'm getting home at around like 5:30, 6:30 p.m. This is Hawaii Standard Time. At the time I was stationed in Hawaii. So 6 o'clock p.m. in Hawaii, although regular business hours for Hawaii, well, that's midnight Eastern Standard Time. You ain't going to call anybody and buy their house at midnight, right? So I can't call before work. I can't call after work. Can't call during work because I'm not allowed to have my phone on me. There's 1 hour. There was 1 hour that I could conduct business, and that was during chow. That was during my lunch break. So I needed that lunch break to be as effective and as organized and as structured and as automated and as efficient as I possibly could make it. And so I started creating a CRM. This is way back in the day, right? This is 2017. It's when we started creating the CRM. I had 1 hour. And during that 1 hour lunch break, I built my business for 4.5 years until 2020. We made about $330,000 from our real estate investing business. And I decided I have enough financial freedom and success for me to feel safe leaving this nice cushy job with full benefits and cost of living adjustments and basic allowance for housing, basic allowance for sustenance. The military really takes care of you. And I was willing to leave that because of the CRM. Yeah, I had the right education, and I had the right people in my corner, and I had the right tools and everything. But the biggest factor was the CRM. So now we have the CRM. It's called DealBase. There's 2 plans. There's a single operator plan. This is $200 per month. And then there's a team plan. This is $650 per month. I lead with the prices because I know it's on everybody's mind. Let me tell you a little bit about it. There's 389 automations. So anything that can and should be automated is automated. Everything can be manually overridden by a human. It's my job. You're literally paying me to create efficiencies that collapse time and help you do more deals in a shorter period of time with less money and less effort. So that's what the CRM does. That's what structure does. That's what organization does. That's what automation does. And so it was honestly made for me. It was never meant to be commercialized. It was never meant to be, put out to other people. It was just my own solution to my own problem. Right? And for 4 years, that's all it was. It was my solution to my problem. It wasn't until 2021, my mentor got whiff of what my life purpose was. And he was like, dude, you're kind of being and I quote, you're kind of being a dick holding this so close to your chest. And he encouraged me to share it. He's like, dude, this has been such a huge impact on you and your business, and you should make this available for other people. So it took me 10 months. Took me 10 months to kind of template things because everything was really specific to me, right? Like the text messages would say, hi, this is Keith calling from Crown Property, so on and so forth. And now it needed to say like, hi, this is lead manager calling from business name, right? We had to template everything. And took us 10 months to do that. We launched in 2021 and we technically it was October of 2020 was a private launch, and then January 1st, 2021 was our public launch. So we've been doing this now for 5. I don't know how to do math very good in my head. It's like 5 plus years, like officially, fully. We've helped a lot of people. We've had thousands of people in the CRM, and we've helped, to my knowledge, we've helped more than 400 people get their first deal done, even though they have a 9 to 5, they don't have a lot of cash, and they don't have a lot of credit. There's 2 things that you need to know. There's really 3 things that you need to have. The first is you have to have the education on how to structure these deals. Sounds like from what you put in the chat, you have the education. The next thing you need, you can have all the headspace knowledge that you want. That's all book smarts. Now you need to have street smarts, right? Now you need to be able to execute. A lot of people get stuck there. They get caught up in analysis paralysis. The fear of failure is overwhelming. Or they're kind of like me and they're engineer minded and they're like, I'm not doing this unless I'm doing it right. Like how you do anything is how you do everything. If you're going to do it once, if you're going to do it, what's the right thing? There's another quote, but it's confuzzling itself with another quote. Anyway, so sometimes we get caught up in like over engineering this thing. It's like, dude, it's going to take you a year to build that out when you could just, I'm not trying to be greedy, but you could pay me $200. We have $1.2 million built into this over the last 7 years. I think it's going to be better than what you can create in a year. So I don't want people to get caught up in analysis paralysis, and I also don't want people to kind of turn into a half-assed engineer. You have to have the system. You have to have an operating system. And that comes with software, right? So education is wonderful, but it's all headspace knowledge. And now you have to have the tools and the resources that you need in order to execute that. So that's the second thing that you need to have. You can have the headspace knowledge, all the education, you can have all the tools and all the software in order to execute, but still fear of failure and fear of the unknown hold people captive. So having somebody in your corner who has not only successfully navigated those waters themselves, but they've helped hundreds of other people do it. Meaning they haven't just done it themselves, but they've been able to duplicate this. That is super important. And a lot of people, they're good themselves, but they don't know how to teach others. They don't have a system to follow. Therefore, it's not replicatable. You need to have somebody in your corner when you have a seller's objection, when you have a title company that's giving you a hard time, and you have a contractor that's trying to screw you, when you have a lender that's backing out, whatever, right? That it's very important to have the right person in your business. And so that's what REI Automated is. But just to answer your specific question, my friend, regarding the CRM obviously is going to fall into that operating system and software that I was talking about, which is pillar number 2. That's how the CRM can help you, is get you organized, get you structured, make your life more efficient and more effective. Let me know if that answered your question, if you have any follow-on or secondary questions. Yeah, cool. So let's go to the pricing. The low tier is called the operator tier. This is really meant for like newbie people, solopreneurs, just one-man shows. It's called operator because of that. The other one is called scale. So scale is when you already have a team. 100% of people who already have a team should be here. If you're wanting to have a team in the near future, and I would define near future, depending on how fast or slow you move, let's just call it 6 months, plus or minus 3. If you are wanting to hire a virtual assistant, bring in a partner, have somebody else besides yourself in there, then the scale tier is going to be so helpful for you. There's way more automation and there's way more customization that you have at your fingertips. At the 650, we actually don't allow any customization at all whatsoever as a solo operator. I'm not trying to beat my chest or inflate my ego. It's already big enough. But I believe that if you're a newbie and you're coming in as a solo operator, chances are after raising $10 million, after doing deals in 34 states, after being in this industry for a decade, I probably know better than you. So I don't want you to break an already working system. Again, I'm not trying to be rude or demeaning by saying this. That's just the facts. I have a process that's worked well for thousands, I can't say thousands, more than 1,000 people. And so don't change my crap. It works. And only when you have that education, you have the ability to make your own customizations that will optimize your business better than the information that I've given you. Now it's time to upgrade to the scale tier, which is $650 per month. You asked, what does it do? Rick, I'm so sorry, brother. James, listen, it's James's fault. He keeps on asking me questions and I'm going to keep on answering them. So what does it do in terms of marketing? Absolutely nothing. This is not a lead generation. It's a CRM. We do have our own marketing software. We actually have 2 marketing softwares. James, you just tell me what you need. But I have a course on marketing and I can help you a lot with marketing. I love marketing. I'm good at marketing. I spent millions of dollars on marketing. So we have separate and apart from the CRM. No CRM does marketing. If a CRM says that they do marketing, that's actually a lead generation CRM. It's not a true CRM for your business to run operations and communications, right? Can you connect Facebook ads to the CRM? Yes. You can connect Facebook ads, Google ads, any web form. We have direct APIs that you can hook into. If you don't know what an API is, that's totally okay. If you have a developer on your team, just have them contact us. We'll hook it up for you. If the place that you're running ads with doesn't have APIs, then we have webhooks that you can connect them to. We have our own software, both for inbound marketing, so like people filling out a form and contacting you, as well as outbound marketing. I mean, you are finding their property and you're going to them. And the outbound marketing, we split that up between on market or off market. So meaning on market, these are like Fizbos or Zillow, and we have a tool that scrapes nationwide. We scrape deals because there's less than 1% of houses that are listed. I don't know if you guys have figured this out, but if you've been on Zillow, who was I talking to at the very beginning? Diego. If you've ever spent any time cold calling on Zillow, you realize that less than 1% of those houses are actually going to turn into deals. You have to go through a lot of properties, listen, there's a huge attrition rate, right? If you look at 100 properties, you're going to call 20, and out of 20, you're going to get in contact with 4, and out of 4, you're going to pitch 4, and it's not going to, unless you're an amazing closer, you're not going to get any of them under contract, right? Those numbers have to be huge. And it really starts with doing a preliminary investigation on whether or not the numbers even work. But that takes time. And so our software does all of that before you even pick up the phone. So it is only placing properties where the numbers work, where it could be a deal. And now it's your job to call, connect, pitch, and contract. Okay. So there's 4 steps with this one. This is called Deal Labs, by the way. You can go to the website. It's deallabs.ai. We scrape, enrich, analyze, and pitch. So scrape, enrich, analyze, and pitch. The scraping is we're scraping anywhere on the interwebs. If it's online, whether it's Zillow or Facebook or Craigslist or for sale by owner or the MLS, whatever, we are scraping that and we're putting it all into one place that you're not being scattered on all these different websites. That's step 1. Step 2 is enrich. Now we have data brokers. We have 4 data brokers that we're enriching. So rentometer.com, for example, Rentcast, Black Knight. There's one more that we're pulling from. We're bringing in all the data so that you know what is the ARV. We actually even have tools that will analyze. It's my brain basically coded into the system. It determines the ARV for you, and it looks at the pictures and tells you how much it's going to cost to rehab that house to get it into ARV conditions. It's really awesome. So that one's called AIV and AIR, AIRE. AIV stands for Artificial Intelligence Valuation, and AIR is AIRE, Artificial Intelligence Rehab Estimate. So those are built into Deal Labs. This just exponentially creates efficiencies in your business. You will be able to do, it's amazing. It's $1, by the way. It's $1 for your first month. We give you 1,000 credits for free. It's an offer that's so good you'd feel stupid saying no. So go to Deal Labs and create an account. It's $1, and then it's either $25 per month or $100 per month, depending on how many credits you want. So that's the enriching, and then we analyze. We have the AI analyze these numbers. What is the ARV? What is the repair? What's the mortgage? What's the rent? How much equity is there? Like, how are we going to structure this? Would this work as a wholesale? Would this work as a novation? Would this work as a rental? Would this work as a fix and flip? And then we score it. So all 3 of these are done for you. Now it's just your job to pitch, to pick up the phone, call the seller, and the script is freaking there. It's built in. The script is built in. Just read. If you can read at my daughter's reading level, a 5th grade reading level, you're good. You will get properties under contract. That's the on market. And then we have an off market one where you can do all the typical things where you're narrowing down the list saying, hey, I want to, I live near Orlando, Florida. So I want to look at all Orlando, Florida houses between $200,000 to $400,000 that have 80 to 100% equity. They're absentee owner. They have a code violation and they're owned by somebody greater than 65 years old. Done. There's the list. You can target them however you want. You can skip trace them using IDI. You can direct mail. You can cold call. You can send them whatever. What is this called and what is the cost? Deal Labs is the marketing software. It's $1 for your first month. We give you 1,000 credits for free, which is the $25 subscription. So it'll roll automatically to a $25 subscription. You get 1,000 credits per month. Depending on how you use those credits, what's 1,000 divided by 30? That's 33. So you can get 33 leads effectively for $25. You can get 33 leads for $25 per month. Or if you go with the $100 per month plan, then you get 5,000 credits. And 5,000 divided by 30 equals 166. You get 166 leads for $100. This is the cheapest thing. These prices are like, it's only for 2025. I'm trying to get as many people in. I'm trying to get as much social proof and credibility that this thing works. It's amazing. We have so many deals getting submitted. As soon as January 1st hits of 2027, those prices will triple. Okay. So I'm spending the whole year, 2026, being in, getting as many people in and doing a lot of marketing for it. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this live. to get people into deal labs. As soon as 2027 hits, those prices triple. However, if you're in 2026 and you're paying the $25 or the $100, your price won't go up. Your grandfather didn't at the original price. Is the data accurate, and does this allow you to text the data? Yes. So the data is very accurate because the reason why we're pulling from 4 data providers and why I'm spending so much money on that is to make sure that the data is accurate. Does this allow you to put the data in your CRM? You literally push a button, and as long as you have Deal Base, which is the CRM, and Deal Labs, which is the marketing machine, you can press the button, it goes straight to your CRM. Work the lead from there. All right, James, before you can ask me another question, feel free to ask me another question, by the way. But Rick's been so patiently waiting in his car, and he looks like he's freezing his balls off. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to answer his question. Where do you live, bro? Why are you wearing a jacket?
I'm in Tennessee and it's so cold out today.
Oh,
So it's almost 40 degrees.
oh my goodness sakes. This is why I moved to Florida, because it's like 80 something degrees right now.
So is there a training for the deal? Because I was just Googling it. So there's one which is $25 and $100, but is there like a how it works and everything? And
It is so intuitive. I mean, it's 3 easy steps. It's so intuitive that all you do is you conduct your search. It does everything. All the things that I just told you about, you don't even see it. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
It'll go out and it will scrape, and then it will enrich.
Okay. So all you have to put in
Analyze.
city or state or something?
You can do city, zip, or state, or county.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said state. You can't do state. That's too big. It'll absolutely
Right.
max out anybody's budget. City,
Right.
county, or zip code. Or like if you wanted to do it just a single address, look up one specific property, you can do that as well.
Okay, but you're gonna, once you give the details, it will do all the, what was the criteria you were mentioning? That it will go and search for all the stuff, or it will be
All of it.
We have to pull the criteria. Okay.
No,
That's out.
it goes and does all of it.
Okay. And then the other was the deal based, right?
Deal base is the CRM.
Is it based for deal based AI?
We don't have a website yet. We launched Deal Base publicly on April 5th.
Okay. So can you put this in the chat and both the links, please, if you don't mind?
There's no link.
Or
There's no website.
So how do I sign up if I want to sign up for the deal base?
I literally enrolled my first person yesterday. They booked a call with me, and I took her credit card. I got her contact information. I already passed it to the team. So I know that sounds kind of ghetto and informal, and it is. So if you want to be one of the very first people, then I can give you a call right after this, and we can do that. If you want to make it a little bit more professional and sign up through the website and everything, you're probably going to have to wait about 7 to 10 days.
You know, the fees for the CRM?
It's $200 for operator. It's $650 for scale.
Okay. Then, okay. We can talk that offline.
Yeah, cool.
Like.
If you are interested in hopping in right now, then what you should do is go to the Zoom chat. Don't put it in as all. Make sure that you've selected me, so it only goes to me. We don't need everybody getting your phone number. Just send me your phone number, and I'll give you. I'm going to keep going live for about 35 more minutes, and then I can call you around noon if that's something that you want to do.
Okay. My other question was, and actually the reason I would, this came after those questions, how much are you paying for the trust? Like you said, each time you get a new trust, how much they charge you to make a trust? Like
it's going to depend. So I do deals in 34 states, and every attorney is going to be different, even within the state, even within the county, even within the city, right? The cheapest that I've probably paid is like $850, I think. And the most expensive that I've had to pay was like $2,600 or $2,700.
Okay. I was saying it's not just one attorney or one company that you go, you just search around and see who's the best one and just talk to them.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And I would say it averages around like $1,500.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. My other question is, when you were doing the subject to deal, are you the trustee or you make somebody else the trustee?
So,
because the seller is the guarantor.
Let me make sure to put this disclaimer in. I'm not a licensed attorney. This is not legal advice.
Yeah, you already mentioned that.
It is only for entertainment purposes. I do not ever put myself as the trustee of any trust. Do you know why?
Right.
because they can find you and stuff like that, and they can literally link and everything. Yes,
That's exactly correct. We always have somebody else, make somebody else. Some people choose to have that be a family member. Some people do that as a trusted friend. Some people have that as an attorney. I don't really care, how your life is. You choose one of those three people. And my recommendation is never put yourself as a trust.
Okay. And then not somebody with your last name too. That's what I heard.
That's correct.
Okay. So and then in the starting case, the seller is the grantor, then he becomes the beneficiary. You transfer his beneficial interest to your LLC, or how do you do that part?
How do you want it?
That's why I'm asking you. Like, I have no idea. Like,
Well, no. Don't do what I do, right? Like,
okay.
This is the difference of I like to drink my coffee black, and you like to have all the sugars and creams and everything like that.
I want to do the best one, so it doesn't make a difference.
No. This is okay. So I was in the Marines, and some people prefer an M16, and some people prefer an M4. At the end of the day, they both shoot 5.56 rounds. They have the same magazine capacity. The only difference is that one of them is a little bit lighter and it's a little bit shorter to barrel. You have the same ACOG, optic on it. And when you're running and gunning, I don't really think that it matters. But for me, I have a platform that I really like. And another person will have a platform that they really like. And this is best for me and that's best for them. So here's what I'm telling you, right? There is no right or wrong. There is no better and best. It's not right or wrong. It's simply left or right. And what's right for you may actually be wrong for me. And so I don't want to give you, at this point, I'm going to tell you, not only is this not legal advice, I can't advise you because I would need to know a whole bunch of personal information about you and your wife and your kids and your marital, your relationship and your businesses and your assets and all of these things come into play, where you're going in the future, what you want to happen in the event of your incapacitation or death. All of these are questions that my attorney, any good attorney, is going to ask you. And they're going to create a plan that's custom to you. So potentially you don't want yourself as the beneficial interest. Maybe there's another trust that's the beneficiary. Maybe it's an LLC that's a beneficiary. Maybe it's your wife or your kids that's a beneficiary. Maybe it is you who's a beneficiary. There's a whole slew of things that go into determining which of these is the best for you. And it typically takes about an hour of, I would lovingly call it interrogation, where the attorney is just finding out everything about you so that he can properly advise how you should be setting up this trust. I know that's not the answer that you wanted, but that is the best answer.
Yeah. But my thing is depending on like what you want to do, I have heard different things, different ways where you can put the beneficiary as another personal property trust, and its beneficiary could be a living trust, or it could be an LLC and stuff like this. So I'll see like what you do. So that's why my thing was it.
Yeah.
I understand everybody's different.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. I'm never going to tell anybody what I do except for my wife, and she doesn't even know half the stuff that I do because she doesn't care. But I would never tell you because that's the whole point of a trust, is to keep it private and safe and anonymous, right? And certainly we're live streaming in more than 20 different places right now. So this is, this recording is going to be living for a long time. What happens is you sit down with the consultation with your attorney, you set it up the right way. And I recommend revisiting your strategy every year, once a year. I always do it right around my birthday. So that's like kind of my trigger. My birthday, I mean, that's the time that I get my blood work. That's the time that I do a reevaluation of our finances. That's the time that I do a reevaluation of our trusts and assets. This is when I do a reevaluation with my wife of our life plan. And there's a whole bunch of things that we do around our life plan. And cool enough, we are very close with our birthdays. And so we always do this in between our birthdays. Hers is in June, mine's in July. So, end of June, beginning of July, that's when we sit down. We have these hard discussions. We actually go offsite. Okay. We'll go to a different place for 2 to 3 days, get away from the kids. It's quiet. The only thing that we care about is this.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Cool, man. Any other questions, secondary follow-on questions? All right. Fantastic. James, I see that, and I will give you my booking link. Where is the best place for me to find my booking link? I have team members that are the ones who typically give out my booking link. So I don't even know how to get to. Let me go to Calendly. Oh, I have this saved in my Slack channel. Okay, I'm on it. This will be fast, James. And I'll give you my booking link. This is for anybody as well. If you want to have a one-on-one call with me that's private and not live streamed to thousands of people. Booking. 0 matches found. That's a lie. Wow, it really does have 0 matches. Okay, let me do it to George. George is our setter, so I know he has my booking link. Here we go. All right, I'm dropping it in the chat right there, my friend. Go ahead and fill out that form. It'll redirect you to my calendar. Once you're done, you can schedule a anywhere between a 15-minute to a 45-minute call with me. All right, cool. What other questions do we have? Rick, you still have your hand up? Yeah. Put your phone number in the chat, and then if it says message everyone, make sure don't send it there. Click on new chat, select my name from the drop down.
Yeah. I did it.
Must be Yeah, thanks for reminding me, because otherwise I would have freaking forgot to look. All right. Diego, James, Johnny, y'all have any other questions? We have about 35 minutes left. So if you have a question, come off. No questions, you said? That's lame.
No. Hey, you gave me homework assignment, all right?
That's right, I did it. James, Johnny, how can I help you guys today? What's the biggest thing that is hurting your business? What question, if answered, would move the needle in how your business is doing? Or what thing is upsetting you right now? Keeps you up at night? You wake up in the morning with a pit in your stomach. What's a goal that you have, but you don't know how to achieve it? All right, James, I see this question. Here, by the way, got your phone number, write it down. Thanks, sir. Who has done deals, who's returning back to the business and familiar with most strategies, but I think I have information overload or analysis paralysis. Would you recommend to an investor who has done? Oh, okay. Well, Rick, James, that's a really easy question to answer. So here's the definition of analysis paralysis. You are overwhelmed. What's the definition of overwhelmed? Well, there's actually 2 different versions of overwhelm. Either you have so many options. Think about you're standing like in the middle of a pool of water, and you're on like a little cylinder block, like one of those 12 by 12 pavers. And there's pavers strategically placed in every direction around you, and you're like overwhelmed. I have so many different ways that I can go, right? There's 360 degrees in which I can pivot, but I don't know where to pivot. That's definition number 1 of overwhelm. Then there's the opposite version of overwhelm. And that's like, I have no options. The walls are closing in around me. I feel like I'm backed into a corner. I have nowhere to go. There's there's no viable solutions. I don't know what to do. That's the definition of overwhelm. It's either I have too many options, or I feel like I have no options. Either way, I don't know what to do. There's an easy way out of that. Success leaves clues. Find somebody who has what you want, or who is who you want to become, and do what they did. Don't do what they're doing, right? So I look at, for example, I really like Alex Ramosi. I like where he is in business, but I can't do what he's currently doing because he's at a totally different stage in his life, right? He's on chapter 10 of his book, and I'm on chapter 2. So I can't compare my chapter 2 to his chapter 10. What I can do is look at what did you do when you're in your chapter 2? How do you get to where you are? Do that. And if you can't find how to do that thing, then go ask the person. Ask the person, what did you do? What can I do right now? If you were in my shoes and you had to go do this again, knowing what you know now, skipping all the bad things and only doing the good things, what would you change, do differently with the wisdom that you have? Finding somebody to mentor you, to bring some organization into your life, to breathe fresh wind into your sails. Because when you're overwhelmed, you're kind of code black, right? You're red light. You're like freaking out. That siren's going off in your head and the lights are, it's not a good time. So bringing in somebody who can bring peace and stability and words of wisdom, that's what you need. That is the only answer every single time you're in a state of analysis paralysis. Some of the times it's, you know what to do, or you have, theoretically, you know what to do. Like I was talking about earlier, it's all this book knowledge, it's all this headspace knowledge, but you don't know how to apply it, or you're worried that if you apply it, something bad is going to happen. That's the only two things that causes lack of action. You have fear of failure or fear of the unknown. So having somebody come in and give you the confidence, frankly, dude, I'm just going to be really straight with you. I feel like I've coached enough people to know that you have to give people permission to step outside their comfort zone, to do something big, to do something hard. And once that permission is granted by somebody else, now you can liberate yourself from the glass ceiling or the limiting, negative limitations that you put on yourself. Now you can bust outside. Okay, let me read your last message. Too many options, but I know I want to work locally because if I can't wholesale or flip, etc., I can list at a discount since I'm licensed. So you have a viable thought process there. You're right. If you can't wholesale or flip, you can list at a discount. If you're okay with a little bit of resistance or a little bit of questioning on this, you at that point have two options. It wasn't a good deal. It wasn't a good enough deal to wholesale, and it wasn't a good enough deal to flip. So you're saying, well, I do have one other option. I could list it. Well, may I suggest that you are settling rather than reallocating that time and energy to something that is much, much better. So you're going to get 3% of that listing, right? And so even if that listing is $500,000, congratulations. Like I said, I'm really bad at math, so I actually have to do this. $15,000. That's an assignment fee, right? So over here, if that house sells for $1,000, then you're going to make $15,000. And then unless you're the broker, you're going to, have to give up a large portion of that, 20%, 25%, 30%. And you're walking away with, let's just call it $12,000. Well, how long is it going to take? Plus your transaction fee for your coordinator. So you're making $12,000. Well, here's the problem, the potential problem. I'm not saying this is a problem for you, but for me, here's the problem. You have zero control. This is not your house. You cannot fix it up. You cannot do anything to control this situation. Whereas over here, it's your deal. You control every aspect of it. What is the purchase price? What is the terms? What is the closing? What title company are we? You control everything. And I don't know if this classifies me as a control freak, but whether I succeed or whether I fail, I want it to be on me and me alone, right? I don't want some other man to be in control over my household income or the success of my business. So as much as I can bring this into my influence, and here's the scary part about this, James, is then when you fail, there's no other freaking excuse. It was your own dang fault and you have to get better. A lot of people, they're not ready for that. I like this though, because I will work on myself until the day that I die. I am up right now. It took me 2 hours to prep for this live because I'm doing a whole bunch of new live streaming stuff. Didn't matter. The first thing that I did, 6:30 when I woke up on a Saturday morning, was prep for this live call. Because I'm trying to get better at marketing, because that's my core constraint. You need to be okay with doing that. Taking the time away from your wife, your kids, your whatever stage you're in life. I can't see your face. I don't know how old you are. I apologize. But you have to be ready to accept the fact that I screwed up because I wasn't good enough. And I got to get better in order to make this thing happen successfully. So, for me, again, I'm not saying that what you're doing is right or wrong. And I don't think that my way is better than yours. What I am saying is, for me, I would never choose to list a house that is not a good deal because it's going to sit for a very long period of time. And if it's not a deal, they're probably going to negotiate that price down, or it's going to fall out of escrow. Rather, I would go over here and just find another deal because I can do that in literally just another couple days, another week tops. Just thinking if every option to control was rejected, listing was the last option. If list for discount, no other services, just list in the, I think that you said MLS rather than MRIs. Yeah, I mean, you're correct, but I wouldn't list it. I would choose, if it was me, my wife was a realtor. rather than her listing it, I would rather pawn that off to another listing agent and collect it's typically 20% referral fee, right? So now it's none of my time, and the thing that's out of my control is now on somebody else. And now I have the time, the mental bandwidth to go focus on something else that's going to make a lot more money, right? Because a $12,000 assignment fee is actually almost half what national average is for an assignment fee. National average right now is $19,000 something $100. I don't really know if it rounds down to 19 or up to 20, it's $19,000. And so just an average assignment fee is going to make you 80% more, no, 70% more than what you currently are. Cool. What questions do we have about that? You're right. I met an investor years ago and asked him about being a realtor, and he said he doesn't want to take a pay cut. Yeah, man. This is going to sound a little bit egotistical, but if realtors knew how much money I made, they wouldn't be realtors, because they work harder than me. They work longer than me. They have less control and they make way less. My life is far superior owning a business than being an agent. And you're right. You can squeeze out every last drop from every one of your marketing campaigns because you have an additional option to list that house. But in my opinion, James, you can be a really good realtor or you can be a really good investor, but you cannot learn how to be really good at both of them at the same time. The people who are good at both, they focused on one thing and then pivoted to the other after they were already good at this. This is synonymous to the age-old saying that millionaires or multimillionaires have 7 streams of income. That is, I believe, statistically true. That said, they didn't create all of these things at once, right? They didn't go out and say, I'm gonna do this, and here's all my business plans, and here's all my plans of execution, here's all the things I'm gonna hire for, here's SOPs and blah, 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 blah. No, that never happens. This is quite literally, it's going to fail 100% of the time. You are set up for failure with this idea. A lot of people think that that's what you should do. I'm gonna try wholesaling, I'm gonna try drop shipping, SBBA or whatever the freaking thing is called. I'm going to go start a power washing business. I'm going to do an MLM selling whatever freaking thing. No, do one thing. This is what all multimillionaires, decamillionaires, centimillionaires, and billionaires do. They got really good. They were focused, laser focused on one thing. They got really good at that. Then they automated as much as they could, and then they delegated what they couldn't automate. And then they moved on to the second thing. Now they've taken all of their contacts and SOPs and knowledge, right, wisdom from how they did that the first time. And now they do the same exact thing. They get really good at this new thing. They automate as much as they can. They delegate at anything that can't be automated, and then they move to the next thing. This is how I've built my businesses. I'm 30 years old. We have 3 businesses, 4 including my wife's. And this is what, I got to hang out on the beach with my kids on Thursday morning. And today there's a trade-off, right? Because I'm doing this. This doesn't seem like financial freedom. This doesn't seem like I want to do this. Why? Because I'm learning. I'm growing. We're going to go to the range. We're going to go kill some paper with my kids in a little bit after I call Mr. Rick. But I want to just impress upon you that if you're not a really good freaking realtor or a really good investor, you cannot build both of them simultaneously. All right, we've got one more thing here. Well, thanks, bro. I appreciate you saying that. I do really care. I don't know you. I've never met you. I've never even seen your face. But I love you, bro. And I want the best for you. If there's anything specific that I can do, I've come prepared with the intention of giving people my courses. I have 12 different courses, some on deal structure, where I'm teaching you how to buy houses subject to trust acquisitions, owner financing, SCR, all these different ways. And are we going to wholesale? Are we going to wholesale, retail, RAF, rent, owner finance, novations, lease options, right? That's one course. That's the deal structure course. Then I have like a marketing course where I'm teaching you about texting and cold calling and ringless voicemails and bandit signs and direct mail and door knocking and driving for dollars and PPC and PPL and SEO and Facebook ads and all the things, right? These are all things that I've done. That's in the marketing course. So now you know how to structure deals. You know how to find leads. Well, what do you do once you find the leads? Well, now you got to pick up the phone. You have to be qualified to talk to them. Well, now I have a sales and negotiation course where I teach you how, first, why do we do what we do? Then why, then when. I teach all of what we say, how we say it, why we say it in my sales and negotiation course. And then I have a deal analysis course, because now that you have a headspace knowledge, now that you've generated the lead, now that you've talked to the lead and you've gathered all the information, now you need to analyze the deal, right? So we start, there's a great book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was written by Stephen Covey, I believe. One of those habits is begin with the end in mind. Well, the end that we have in mind as investors is, what is the sales price point of this house? That's called ARV, right? What is the sales price? When I'm all done, everything's said and done, what can I sell this house for? Now we're going to reverse engineer the process. So that's step 1, determine ARV. Step 2 is gap analysis. I need to estimate the repairs. Are we talking a $5,000 or a $50,000 renovation? And that's step 2. Step 3 is structuring the deal. That's easy. It's a 3-step deal analysis process. And if you've taken my deal structure course, you already know how to structure the deals. So now you're analyzing this, ARV, repairs, structure the deals. I have a calculator for this. I have an app for this. And actually, Rick, if you get deal-based today, the deal analyzer is built into the app. Super cool. So it's a guided process that literally goes through all of these entrance strategies and exit strategies that I'm talking about. So a complete newbie who doesn't even know how to analyze deals, it literally has my brain, and I'm making sure I've coded it into the CRM. That there is no rock left unturned. We are looking at all viable options for exit strategy and entry strategy. Okay, so I can talk about all these different courses. I have a course on raising private money, on systemizing your business, on acquisitions and dispositions, on whatever. All the things that you need. I have 12 different courses that set people up for success. I believe that there's 12 pillars for real estate investing. You have to be at least competent in all 12. You should be exceptional. But in the beginning, let's just focus on being competent in all 12. If you're competent in 11, you're not going to last. I can say that with a lot of confidence. You're not going to last because you're going to make a mistake that takes you out or burns you out. So that's what I am here for, is I'm just giving away courses. These courses are anywhere between $50 to $1,000. And anybody who shows up to my live streams, I'm going to do these like once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. They can get access to any one of my courses for free. So thanks for coming to the live today. We have 20 minutes left. If there's anything that I can help any of you guys out, Rick or Diego or James, then let me know and I will do it. James, what do you need help with? If you could choose, well, let me ask a couple of questions. First, how long have you been in real estate? How many deals have you done roughly? And what is your primary exit strategy? How long? How many deals? What's your primary exit strategy? We have 20 minutes left and I have 1 sip of coffee. We may be ending early. Okay. You answered one of the questions. How long you been doing it? And what's your primary exit strategy? Okay. What do you do for Mark? No, I don't. Let's do deal structure. I'll give you my deal structure course because I believe that wholesaling is taking a nap right now. I'm not here to say that wholesaling doesn't work. I've done 2, but they are very slow and far and few between. Yeah, I'll be done in like 30 minutes. They're far and few between, right? I did a lot of wholesaling 2016 to 2020. And then I did a lot of fix and flips from 2020 to 2024. And now I'm focused on rentals and novations. Wholesaling, if your primary exit strategy is wholesaling, you are going to struggle unless you're in one of very few markets. There's about 12. That wholesaling is still pretty good. It's healthy. Days on market is short. You can find plenty of buyers. Statistics say you're not in one of those 12 places. Go ahead. Tell me where you are. What's the city and state that you live in? If you don't mind sharing that. That will change my mind if you're in one of those 12 metros. James, there you go. Good. Great. Okay. That's a wonderful area. I've done a lot of deals up there. So DMV area. I was actually stationed in Stafford. I'm sure you know where Stafford, that was my first duty station. So I'm extremely familiar with the DMV area. That's where my first mentor was. If you've ever heard of Brad Chandler, he was the CEO of Express Home Buyers, which I believe to date it has still done. He owned, at least at the time, the largest wholesaling company that's ever existed in the nation. There is lots of wholesales available. Yeah, dude, that's them. He was my very first mentor. Like I literally went, it was so funny, dude. I attended one of his, he would have a meetup once per month. And he did a meetup where he brought his acquisition specialist. There was 3 tables up in front of the ring, and it was put into a horseshoe. And he had one guy finding comps. That was the left gentleman. The guy who was on the right table, he was in charge of estimating repairs. And the person who was in the middle, he was on the phone facing us so that we could hear him speaking. And he had this saying. I don't know if you've ever heard any of his jingles or saw any of his marketing, but his saying was like, offer in 7 minutes or less, or I'll give you $1,000 or something. Like it was an impressively fast period of time and a very large sum of money. And so people would ask for offers all the time, and he could give them offers, and he showed how he did it. And it was amazing. I've actually modeled how I analyze deals based off of what I saw in that presentation in 2026. It was absolutely killer, bro. So I was so impressed. I went up to him. I'm this little snot-nosed, 20 years old. I walk up to him and I say, hi, my name is Keith. You don't know me yet, and you don't know this yet, but you're going to be my mentor. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I said to him. Hi, my name is Keith. You don't know me yet, and you don't know this yet, but you're going to be my mentor. And he was like, I don't think you know who I am. And I said, you're right, but you know what I want to know. Therefore, you are my mentor. And so he was like, man, you have some balls coming up to me and bossing me around like this, but I like you. So what are you doing after the event? And I said, nothing. I'm driving home. I live like an hour away. And he was like, cool. Why don't you come to my office? And so he actually invited me. He owned the building, right? And he had all these different cold callers and everything. Back in the day, I think his office was on like the 6th floor or something. He took me, he gave me a tour of his office, and we're still friends to this day. I actually helped him do a deal just, I think last month, maybe it was 2 months ago, in Hawaii, because I lived in Hawaii. That was my second duty station. Anyway, he's awesome. He taught me a lot my first year in real estate, and it really helped me model a successful business. So let's get back into how I can help you, James. Even though that's exactly what I was going to get into. Even though wholesaling, so for anybody who's watching the live, James said, I think what's killing me is I'm thinking my market is oversaturated. It is extremely competitive. The DMV market is so competitive. It's just like Scottsdale, Arizona. It's just like San Diego, California. There are hotspots in the nation that are so good that they don't just attract local investors, but you have virtual or remote investors that are investing, like me, that are investing there as well. And so your skill set, you have to be able to compete, brother. If you cannot compete, you will drown. And so my recommendation, if you want to keep things local, is go on the outskirts of these places. So Stafford was perfect. Woodbridge was perfect. Fredericksburg was perfect. Going on the other side, dipping into Maryland, not in Baltimore, but on the outskirts of Baltimore, like 40 minutes outside, perfect. We did so many condo conversions up there, a lot of wholesales. So not in Washington, D.C. proper, but in the surrounding areas, 40 minutes away is a really good range. If you can get about 25 miles, right, that's about 40 minutes. The competition is far less. However, the margins are still good. So that's number one. Or number two, I can teach you how to do some remote stuff because, and again, it depends on your goals. Like, do you want to wholesale, or do you want to fix and flip, or do you want to hold on to rentals, or do you want to wrap properties and get into the notes game? Right? I actually like all of these for different reasons. When I need a quick pop of cash, I'll take a $10,000 or $15,000 assignment fee and just get the heck out of Dodge. Great. Wholesaling has its utility there. For fix and flipping, we average about $68,000 or $66,000 net profit per flip that we do. So whenever I'm willing to invest a little bit of money, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 into bringing that property up to fair market value, and I can hold on to it for 4 or 5 or 6 months, but I'm going to make $70,000. It's totally worth it for me. And as long as I can wait for that money, then I'm good to do that. Other times, I'm not in it for the active income, and I actually want the passive income. There's nothing passive about it, by the way. But if I need to write off some depreciation on my taxes, then I'd like to hold on to some rentals. And I'm in the Section 8 game, so I love to make Section 8, where I only have like $45,000, $60,000 tied up into a property. This is both purchase price and rehab. So let's call it $60,000 tied up into a property, but that property is renting. I can show you. I just leased. Oh, I haven't even collected my first check yet. I just leased up a house about 2 weeks ago, I posted the picture that my property manager sent me of the receipt. So I'm getting $34.80 or something like that. That security deposit plus first month's rent. So $34.80 divided by 2. Yep, that's correct. $17.40. So on this property, I have 40. I don't know. It's either 43,000 or 49,000. There's two properties that kind of have the same numbers for me. It's either 43,000 or $49,000 tied up into it. It's renting for $17.40. Do the math. I'm cash flowing like a madman. It's about $900 per month after debt service is taken care of. So I love holding on to rentals as well. And some of the times it's not a rental friendly area. And I would rather hold a note, because note is true passivity. There's nothing more passive than a note, meaning I am the bank and I have owner financed that house to somebody else. I don't have to worry about toilets. I don't have to worry about tenants. I don't have to worry about wind, fire, hail, or any storm, hurting that house, or dealing with insurance, or the fridge going out, or a leak happening underneath the sink. I don't have to worry about any of that. There's only one thing that I have to worry about, which is collecting my monthly payment every single month. That's the only thing that you have to worry about when you're in the note game. It is true passive income. So I should say, and I have a note servicing company that collects everything. They're the ones that, if somebody's late, they're the ones who is handling the outreach to that borrower. So that's why I say very confidently that it is true passive income. So whether it's wholesaling, fix and flips, rentals, or notes, those are kind of my 4 primary ways of structuring deals. So James, that's the first thing that I would like to give you. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did earlier and just put it into the chat. So I'm going to drop this link into the chat. This is how you can get that course. It's going to take you to the sales page. You're going to see that I have it for sale. You don't have to pay for it. You have showed up live to the call. So go ahead and click checkout. Once you get to the Stripe page, put that promo code in and it will drop the price to $0. Okay, so click on the link, click buy, put in that promo code. It'll drop the price to 0 and then check out. That's the biggest thing that I think I can help you with. And after you're done with, I'll make you the same deal that I made Diego earlier today. After you're done with that course, you have 1 week. I will not honor 8 days, 7 days or less. Okay, you have until end of business day, or I should say end of day, next Saturday to finish this and to send me an email, send me a text message, send me a Facebook message, call me, get in touch with my assistant, send me some snail mail or a carrier bird. I don't really care how you get word to me, but as long as you get word to me, Keith, I finished that course. Can you give me a second one? I will give you a second course for free. I don't know which course would be best for you. Maybe we can hop on a quick call. And perfect. Yeah. Send me an email. My email is in the course. And just let me know, hey, Keith, I want to be given that second course. I'll give you some to select from, and you can choose any course that you want, so long as you finish the first one 100% of the way through on within the first week. Cool. All right. Heck yeah, it's my job to force you off the sidelines. It's about time, James. Hurry the heck up, will you? I'm just giving you a hard time. Dwayne, happy Saturday, brother. Thanks for having your video on. How can I help you today? You first must come off mute. I can see that you're talking, but I can't hear you. I prompted you to unmute. All right, his connection is really bad. Looks like he might be at bottom. Dwayne, if you can hear me, go ahead and just click that unmute. I saw that you're trying to talk, but I can't hear you. So there should be a little button. Or if you're trying to get on your computer, that's a viable solution as well. We're going to go for about another 6 minutes before I cut the live. So if you have a question, speak now, or forever hold your peace, or get on another device that actually has a microphone.
Did you go on the text, right? On my phone number?
I did get your phone number. Yes. Yep. I'll give you a call as soon as we're done with the live. I'm going to write some notes afterwards on this. What I need to do differently, but I'll give you a couple minutes.
Take your time. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Actually, why don't we do this, Rick? Instead of me calling you,
maybe some Zoom link or something?
Yeah, so as soon as I end this Zoom room, it'll stop all the live streams so that we have some privacy. And then just wait 30 seconds, click the same Zoom. You have it, right? You have the Zoom link saved somewhere? Cool.
Yes.
Just click the same exact Zoom link. I'll be here, and it'll take maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay.
Cool. Perfect. Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect. I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks, brother. Dwayne, you got anything, brother? All right. Doesn't look like it. Diego or James?
Not at this time. No. Okay. Doing your homework.
All right. Cool, man. James, you got anything, sir? Want to make sure everyone is taken care of before I back out. Heck yeah, man. It's really good. Not only do I guarantee that you'll get 5 properties under, so James put in the chat, bro, I've never seen an offer like yours, $150,000 in contracts or your money back. So I do have a guarantee in my program that you get 5 properties under contract within your first 90 days of marketing worth $150,000, or I give you your money back. And I don't just give you the money that you paid me, but I also reimburse your marketing. Meaning, if you spent $7,500 in PPC, or you hired a cold caller, or you bought bandit signs, or you did whatever, that money didn't come to me. Let's be freaking really clear about this. That money went to somebody else. But I am so confident in what we provide and in what we do and the value that we bring and the success that we have, not only in our own business, but in that of hundreds of other people that I have coached over the last 5 years. We have been able to duplicate this over and over and over and over again. My youngest client is 17 years old. My oldest client is 84 years old. We have people who do this full time. I have Marines that are deployed overseas right now that are putting properties under contract. No exaggeration whatsoever. I can provide the proof. We have video evidence of everything that I've just stated. Just ask. I'll send it to you. And go to my YouTube video. Go to my YouTube channel and you'll see me interviewing clients of the deals that we've done. We have one client who's been with me for 7 months. He's done 7 deals, brought in more than $500,000 net profit. He has 5 more properties under contract yet to even close and collect that cash yet. And he was brand new to real estate investing. So I have this guarantee. Not only do I pay you back all the money that you paid me, but I also reimburse your marketing costs. I put my money where my mouth is, right? And I'm very confident. I'm so confident in our ability to educate you and help you execute and support you along the way that I literally am willing to lose money and go out on a limb in order to show you. What's my YouTube video? Well, I have thousands of YouTube videos. I don't know. If you just search REI Automated on YouTube, you will see it. Or you can go to my Facebook and I have a link to the YouTube channel there. If you want to know exactly about the offer that I'm talking about, I have one promotional video in the course that I just gave you. So there's about 10 hours or so of it's just value and education and execution and things like this. I have one promotional course in there. It's about an hour where I talk about my program. That's actually a YouTube video as well. So if anybody is interested in coming on board as a private client of ours, so you get all the courses, you get all the education that you could ever need. I have joined 57 courses. I've spent more than $500,000 over the last 10 years signing up for 57 courses and mentorships and apprenticeships and so on. I have taken everything that I've learned and put into these core 12 curriculum courses. You also get all of our operating systems. So we are a software company as well. We have for example, we have our own CRM. We have our own marketing app. We have our own, like the deal analyzer software, our scripts software, our purchase and sales agreement is automated software. All of those things you get as a private client, and then you get support as well. So I believe that these are the 3 core ingredients. Just like if you're baking a cake, you have to have flour, have to have sugar, and you have to have eggs. Everything else is optional, but you must have these 3 things. Otherwise, that cake that you're baking, that you're trying to bake, is not going to come out looking like a cake. Well, to be a successful real estate investor, you have to have these 3 pillars. You have to have the right education, you have to have the right operating system, and you have to have the right support. If you take out one of these elements, it's like taking the flour out of your cake's not going to look like a cake, okay? You're not going to be successful as a real estate investor if you take out one of these elements. These are the 3 essential ingredients to being a successful real estate investor. Our private clients get that. That video walks you through everything that you get, how much it costs, how much time it's going to take, how long you're in the program. It breaks everything down. So go watch it. Again, that video is up on YouTube. It's also in the course. So just do the course and you'll see it. So in terms of I need someone to hold me accountable. Oh, cool. James, when it comes to accountability, man, there's nobody who provides more accountability than we do as a company, and more accountability than I do as a former Marine, right? And so we have systemized this in Automated, because you get so much support even though there's 3 pillars, you would think that I allocate 33%, 33%, 33% of my time and effort and money. It's allocated evenly. This is actually not true. We allocate about 50% to the support element to make sure that when you need help, you can get help very quickly. So I actually have people strategically positioned quite literally around Earth. So I'm Eastern Standard Time, we have Pacific Standard Time, Hawaii Standard Time, Japan Standard Time, Philippine Standard Time, and Africa Standard Time. When you submit a support ticket to our client care, we're on it immediately. And typically we're able to solve that problem, answer your question, put you in contact with whoever you need to talk to same day, if not the next day. You can also, every single person has a dedicated client success manager. This is a personal one-on-one coach that is there to hold your hand for the first 4 months that you're in our program. And you can elect to have them on even after those 4 months, by the way. But it's their job to hold you accountable, to give you a swift kick in the ass when you need it, and also give you a hug and comfort you when you need it too. You get office hours calls with me 3 times per week, and those are open forum like this. It's kind of ask whatever question you want. And we also have structured calls like rookie role play and review, where we listen to calls, like recorded calls between you and sellers, and I give you feedback. Nate gives you feedback. Or we role play with each other. One of you is the buyer, one of you is the seller. So they're structured, topical calls like that as well. And in addition to that, you can have one-on-ones with me. In addition to that, we have community leaders. These are very successful people, and they're still paying clients, but they're like millionaires, multimillionaires. They've been with me for a couple of years, and now they're turning around and they're helping the community. I don't even pay them to do this, but you get assigned a community leader, and they will both partner and fund your deal. They will fund your deal. They split the profits with you. 30% goes to them, 70% goes to you. And so they'll JV with you. They have an agreement with me. 70-30 is not negotiable. They've already signed a contract with me that they will partner and find any of your deals as long as it's a true deal, 70-30 split. So there's a lot of support, man, when it comes to help and accountability. You have the community leader, you have office hours, you have one-on-ones with me, you have the client care back office team, you have client success manager. We really put a lot of time and money and effort into making sure you have somebody to help you when you need it. With that being said, there is my little pitch for REI Automated. I love what we do. If you're interested, you should go do your research on my company. A lot of people don't like you kind of in their business, but I do, because I'm a good person. I'm an awesome person, and we have an amazing team, and we have helped so many people do awesome things. So the deeper you dig, the more you're going to like me. So you can go to our website. I've dropped the link a couple of times. I've dropped the link in the live streams as well. You can get a course, and yep. So you can get a course. You can go through it. You can hop on a call with me. Any way that I can help you, I can, and I will. With that being said, thanks for coming, y'all. Hope you have an outstanding weekend. I hope to see you soon.